and Crash Course Instrumentation. Saturday Special Episode 8. Resistance Through Time, the Story of the Resistor. Resistors are everywhere. They're in your phone, your toaster, your industrial control panel. But where did they come from? Who built the first one? And what's with those colored stripes? Welcome to this Saturday Special from Crash Course Instrumentation. Today, we're digging into the surprisingly rich history of resistance and the evolution of the resistor. The earliest resistors weren't even solid. Back in the 1820s and 1830s, early scientists used liquid resistors made from salt water. Long tubes filled with brine gave experimenters a controllable resistance value. By the 1840s, physicists like Georg Ohm were experimenting with metal wires and trying to define how resistance worked mathematically. His work helped establish the relationship between voltage, current, and resistance, what we now call Ohm's law. But it wasn't until the rise of telegraphy in the late 1800s that resistors began to appear in commercial form. Edison and the telephone carbon resistor. In the 1870s, Thomas Edison invented a type of variable resistor using carbon powder to help regulate telephone signals. His carbon button transmitter responded to changes in voice pressure. When someone spoke louder, the powder compressed, reducing resistance and allowing more current to flow. The result? A more balanced and audible signal for the listener. This was one of the first practical uses of resistance control in audio and communications, and a foundational step in electrical audio technology. The first commercial resistors, carbon rods and wire-wound coils. In the early 1900s, radio and telegraph companies began standardizing components. One of the earliest successful resistor types was the carbon composition resistor. It was made by mixing carbon powder with a binder like clay, then baking it into a cylinder. Another approach used wire-wound resistors, where resistance wire like nichrome or manganese was coiled around a ceramic core. These resistors weren't just for signal conditioning. They were also used in power control, motor braking, and voltage division. How the resistor color code came to be. Before the 1930s, resistor values were often printed directly on the component. But this was hard to read, especially on small parts or under low lighting. In 1930, the Radio Manufacturers Association, RMA, introduced the color band system, a clever way to show values using standardized color stripes. It caught on quickly. The first two bands gave significant digits, the third gave the multiplier, and the fourth, if present, gave tolerance. Today it's known as the EIA color code and is still in use across the world. If you know the rhyme, "Bad boys race our young girls, but violet generally wins," you know the original band order. Inside the resistor, construction methods over time. Different resistor types emerged over the decades. Carbon composition, early radios and electronics. Wire-wound, high-power, and precision work. Film resistors, metal film and carbon film, stable and cheap. Surface mount resistors, modern electronics, tiny but reliable. Variable resistors like rheostats and potentiometers. Each type has trade-offs in cost, precision, and heat tolerance. Resistor failure yields real-world consequences. In 2006, a major European satellite experienced attitude control issues due to a failed precision resistor in its sensor package. The failure shifted voltage readings slightly, enough to confuse its logic systems. That same year, a commercial aircraft experienced flight computer errors traced to a surface mount resistor with hairline cracks that opened intermittently under vibration. Even small resistors can have big impacts. Why it still matters today. Resistors are the backbone of every circuit. They set bias points, protect sensitive components, and convert electrical energy into heat when needed. You'll find them in loop current limiting, pull-up and pull-down configurations, snubber circuits, analog filtering, heaters and load banks. Understanding resistor construction, ratings, and failure modes is essential for every technician and engineer. Quick recap. The first resistors were made from brine and wire. Thomas Edison used carbon powder to regulate telephone signals. Carbon and wire-wound types led early electronics. The color band system was born in 1930 from the RMA construction methods evolved to meet needs in size, power, and accuracy. Real-world failures show just how critical even a small resistor can be. Thanks for watching this Saturday special from Crash Course Instrumentation. If you like this history dive, Be sure to check out our other episodes on the evolution of measurement and control. Big thanks to Tony Kuphaldt and the Model open source project. Explore more at ebiblio.org. Kuphaldt Socratic Model. Like, subscribe, and join our Facebook group for more great episodes every week.